Tonight may be the last night of the NBA season. We are here to talk Game 5 on NBA Fast Break Bets. Gino Bacola, along with Erik from ETOF21 Sports. Erik, buddy, thanks for holding things down the other day. The big racing days are beyond us now, and we may only have one more game to talk about tonight, perhaps a few more, but we are in the NBA Finals, and the Denver Nuggets have a chance to close things out. First up, how was your weekend, and how do you feel coming into this possible final game of the NBA season?
You know what? I got the Nuggets 20-1. I got Murray at 42-1 to lead in assists. So hopefully tonight's the night where everything just kind of closes down. Heartbreak last game because I had a future with Joker at 20-1 to outscore Butler in every game, and he didn't do it by 2. So hopefully, you know what? Hopefully I can close out the 42-1 with Murray. He's a big betting favorite now. The Caleb Martin one's looking pretty good. So hopefully, I can close it out and we can be done with the season, and we can start diving into some college football and NFL.
A couple things to mention before we start getting into everything. If you're in the state of Iowa, you have to sign up for DRF Sportsbook right now. We have an incredible promotion with DRF Sportsbook. When you use the promo code FAST1000, we'll give you $1,000 deposit match. Fast 1,000 anywhere in the state of Iowa, coming to more states very, very soon. And we're going to talk about Thrive Fantasy. If you're someone who likes to play fantasy sports or like to wager on props, make sure to stay tuned to the very end because you will really enjoy finding out more about Thrive Fantasy. Erik, we do have a couple questions that came in. I guess we could hit on these before we even get into the game a little bit. Pelicans trading for Henderson. Looks like they're already hitting the reset button. And then kind of related to that, thoughts on the Zion situation. So first up, what do you think about Henderson?
I mean, this is the thing about Henderson. He's young. He really didn't look that good in the games he's played in for the Unite. I know the ceiling's really high on him. The one thing about him, though, is my friends that work in the NBA all tell me this guy is a workout fiend. He's going to look really good at workouts. So he may get some people that really want to trade up for him just because how good he looks like working out. If he is this generational player and the Pelicans have a chance to trade for him, yeah, I mean, I think they definitely should. But if you're the Pelicans, who are you going to want? You're going to want BI. You're going to want Zion. Like, would you really be willing to trade those guys? I mean, maybe Zion, because I'll be honest, Zion, he's hurt all the time. You know what I mean?
How can you trust him right now? He's just another one of those guys that it's unfortunate because it's really hard to build around someone like that. Like he's like, we know other really good players that have injuries and sometimes can't make it all the way through the playoff rounds. We've never even seen him there in that type of a situation. Like, we have no idea how much his body can withhold. Then on the flip side, you think about a guy like Joel Embiid. He didn't play a whole lot of games the first 4 or 5 years of his career, and now he's a lot more durable than he used to be. But I think Embiid is more the outlier, right? Erik, There's a lot less guys like Embiid who didn't have a bunch of games in their first few years and then all of a sudden became incredible all-NBA players.
Yeah. It's hard to trust Zion. I mean,
and it's a maturity thing too now, right? On top of the physical stuff. Now we're worried about like immature stuff. He doesn't have to be a leader, but if you're going to be giving him a max contract and expecting him to be one of those key pieces to your team where you're going to be paying in the $40 to $50 million range, you have to be able to trust this guy and depend on him on the court, also a little bit off the court, doing the right thing, making the right decision. And so far, it's not a good Zion time right now, the last couple of months, right? The stock isn't very high on him at the moment.
That one lady is just lighting him up.
Uh-huh.
I really don't know what's happening. Don't really want to comment on that, but stuff's getting heated on social media. My big thing with him is he's not able to stay on the court, and you really want someone to stay on the court. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what the package would look like. I mean, obviously, Lillard's made it clear that he doesn't want another young guy on the court. He wants to win right now. So with that being said, who do the Pelicans have that could win right now? Obviously, probably BI is the guy but would you trade BI right now to out there for Scoot? And then what you do with CJ, then you probably have to look to move CJ. If they do this, in my eyes, this is just a big hard reset and they're starting all over again.
Yeah. They're in a weird spot. It was unfortunate because the glimpses of Zion when he's been out there and he's been somewhat healthy, he's an incredible offensive talent. Like, he's a real mismatch. Because you don't want to put bigs on him because he's a little too quick. And then the smaller guys he's a little too strong for. I would love to see him get an actual season or two, what he would look like in a playoff series, and then how he would have to adjust to people stepping off of him, right? And giving him shots and him not wanting to shoot. I would love to see that with him. And some players, you just wonder, will we ever get there? It's been unfortunate recently for Zion. We'll see what the next few months bring for him. Let's see what tonight brings for us, Erik. So this is the line we're looking at over at DRF Sportsbook right now. Denver about an 8.5 favorite. They're at home. They're trying to close this thing out. Over under in this game, 209.5. So I have one side play, and then I think the rest of our plays are all props for tonight, player props. I'm going to play Miami first half. Just the way this team is built, the way they're made up. Every time we figured they were down and out, they came back and gave us at least one more punch. I don't think Miami can win 3 games in a row, but can Miami maybe win tonight's game, or at the very least come out, give everything they have in the first half with their season on the line? I think they can. I mean, everybody counted them out in Game 7 on the road at Boston after they blew a 3-0 lead, and they came back and beat the crap out of them. I don't think they have enough to do it over and over and to beat a Denver team 3 times in a row. But if you told me they could keep it close, I would lean Miami, just getting a really good effort from them. And I feel like the value on the first half line is a little bit better even than overall. I like this at plus 5.5, Erik. So this is the only side I have tonight. Feel like at the very least, you're going to get that great effort from Miami right off the bat. Energy, effort, a team that's not scared. They weren't expecting to be here. They're not terrified, feeling like they screwed up a moment or, oh, this could have been our chance. They're just out there to play basketball again. I really do think they're sort of built that way.
Yeah, they're going to go out there. They're going to do what they can do. Obviously, like, I know what I would do if I was Sproul. Like, if I'm Sproul, I totally change the starting lineup. I go with my best offensive players because it's been and just
so who would that be for you for Miami? Butler, Bam.
What is it? Butler, Bam. I would actually start Duncan Robinson because he's been playing.
He's been playing well.
There's reports Hero could play. I don't know, because everything I hear is like, as soon as you hit his hand, he's just in pain. So I really don't know how much he's going to play, if he's going to play, how effective he's going to be.
And that was a question that we said, are you worried about Hero messing up the chemistry? He's not going to start. He's going to come off the bench. I think, and Spo's not one of those guys. Like, if he can tell early he doesn't have it, he's not going to keep playing him. Like, I don't think they're going to just leave Hero out there on an island, like, struggling. But, so I don't think it's going to, I think he'll either be helpful or not really hurt them.
I would go, okay, I'm just mathing out these matchups right now. I would go Bam, match up with Joker. Butler matches up with Gordon. Strus, you put on Porter. Martin, you put on Murray. And then Robinson on KCP. Or if you don't go Martin, maybe Lowry. Because Lowry's been playing pretty good, too.
Yeah, Lowry's been playing well, too.
So that's what I would do, just with the whole sense, hey, you know what? We got to score. Our defense can't do anything. We tried the zone. Obviously, they've put Joker all over the place. We've been blitzing him. We've been blitzing Murray. Murray has playing great. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know what they can do schematically, defensively to slow this down. And
they're They're two, which is so weird to think about. This is almost impossible in the playoffs. The Heat are 2-6 in their last 8 games. Think about that.
Insane.
Because they lost 3 to Boston, one game, and then they've lost 3 of 4 here. So they've lost 6 of their last 8 games. That doesn't happen normally in the playoffs because you lose if you're out at that kind of a stretch. But they were up 3-0. They're just not playing very well right now. Like they've given every little bit that they've had. Like physically, Butler doesn't look the same. Strus, I mean, just look at the guys that helped get them here. Butler and Bam have been, the players that they've got them here because Butler has made big shots. Bam's been good defensively and set screens, and he's been a big part. But the 3 guys that really, really were the reasons that sort of came out of nowhere, Martin, Vincent, and then Strus. Strus is 5 for 26 from 3 in the series. Martin is averaging 6.8 points per game in this series. Vincent, in his last 2 games, he's 3 for 16 overall in 1 for 10 from 3. They're just not going to win when you have 3 guys that help them so big getting here, and they're getting nothing from those guys, all 3 of them at the same time. It's regression like we talked about. This is a little bit more of who these guys are. They're not this bad, but they're sort of closer to this than where they were playing against Boston, maybe against Milwaukee, against the Knicks.
Yeah. The one thing that stood out for me, and someone else made this comment to me, is this looks like a true 8-1 matchup.
Yeah.
It kind of, everything.
The one game they won by 3, and it was because they went insane in the fourth quarter.
And they were down 10.
And they were down 10 going into the fourth quarter, go on a 14-2 run. They go 9 of 10 to start the fourth quarter and have like one of the most efficient quarters any team has in any quarter all year long. If that doesn't happen in the fourth quarter, this is probably a 4-0 sweep.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's impressive what Miami has done, honestly, but I think you'll get an effort from them, but I just don't know if they have enough. And we have a bunch of player props now. Let's get into a couple of yours.
I have a ton of player props.
We both have the same one to start.
Yeah, this is just Gordon, same thought after game 1, coming off career game. Needed to fade him in game 2 and it hit. He had playoff highs in field goals attempted, field goals made, 3-pointers attempted, 3-pointers made.
He was 11 of 15 and 3 of 4 from 3.
Yeah, it was insane what he did. I'm banking on him going back down to the norm. I know he's gone over this total 8 of the 19 games, but 3 of those were in the first round against the Timberwolves. When you look playing against better teams, moving on later in the playoffs, he's only gone over this total 5 times. I'm banking on some Aaron Gordon regression. I'm taking
on this one
13.5.
You've got a couple. You're going back again to our guy Michael Porter Jr. You got a couple plays for him because his total has gone way down now.
We hit it last Friday. Him over 10.5 points. That hit. I really like what I saw from him. He wasn't settling. He was attacking the rim. He still was getting open looks from 3. And trust me, someone that shot the ball a lot in his life and has gone through a couple shooting slumps, as soon as you see that first one go in, they're just going to continue to fall for him. He was attacking the rim. He was getting to the 3-throw line. I really like what I saw from him. So I think that's going to continue. This is only at 10.5. I think you could easily go over this. So I played the over 10.5 points. I also played the double-double.
It's a big number. Love it.
Completely just a price play. After game 3, this was plus 250. Last game, this was plus 600. Now we're seeing this plus 1,600. He's got 4 daily doubles in his 4 daily doubles. Jesus.
Horse racing, baby. I love it. We're in the horse race. Belmont this past weekend. You were firing away. I could tell.
He is 3 in the series in potential rebounds per game and 4th in the series in rebounds per game. I just think people are seeing how much he didn't play in the fourth quarter. That had to do with Bruce Brown just being insane, not missing from three. I think this is a good Porter game. He's going back home, going back to the house. I think he's going to look to bounce back. This is a small. I played half a unit on this. In my eyes, 16-1, you have to do it.
Yeah, no, just to give you guys an idea of what a great friend I am, Erik texted me on the weekend, asks me if I could send him the will pays for the Belmont Gold Cup daily double. And I start typing in a text and then get sidetracked, don't send it back. I realize about 5 or 6 hours later, didn't get the text back.
I woke up to it Sunday morning. So
yeah,
that was
Sunday morning. So I'm glad it did you a lot of good after that money was probably in your account or not. So either way, Erik, on
and
a couple
props to
plays.
you. You came on my podcast, and I wasn't going to use the three, but you talked me into using the three, so I hit the double. So thank you.
Yeah, there were the 4 horses that I liked, all ran pretty well. Just the top 2 for me were Angel of Empire and Hit Show, and they were fine, but they were just you could tell they were like working hard the whole race. Forte ran really well, and shout out to Arcangelo. That was the first female trainer to win a Triple Crown race. Really, really cool. Awesome for Jenna. So, Erik, you had a couple porters, and then I'm going to go to KCP, my guy. It's really been weird. Honestly, he hasn't taken a whole ton of shots in this series. He's only taken 21 shots in 4 games. And he's only been averaging 6.5 points a game, just shooting 28% from 3. But now they're back home. And I feel like we're saying we're playing under Gordon, and you're also playing under Bruce Brown. So I'm just sort of feeling like it's just going to shift a little bit more of a KCP game, with that being we're human, right? I think Miami's defense is now they're going to step out a little bit more on Gordon after he had a good game. You're just going to pay a little bit more attention to him because he had such a big game. That's going to leave somebody open because you can't be paying attention to everyone. The one guy who's been struggling has been KCP. And like what's been happening with both Porter and KCP, their numbers are so low now. This is such a low number for KCP, who was up more in like the 12, 13 range early in the playoffs, and now he's all the way down to 7.5.
He really hasn't. We've been hanging that one a lot. The KCP, we hit that one a lot in the Lakers. He just really hasn't been shooting the ball. Hasn't been going in. He's been spending so much time on defense, and he's been getting foul trouble. And it kind of makes sense though that the team's best defender would get into foul trouble because he is relied upon so much on the defensive effort. In terms of the Bruce Brown, my boy E pointed this one out to me that you had to play it. So shout out to my boy E.
From Entourage?
No, not from Entourage.
Oh, okay.
Not from Entourage. Last game was his first game going over this total in this series. I mean, he played lights out. What do you have? Like 21 points. And he just shot lights out. He got a lot of minutes in that fourth quarter. And yes, I do work for Michael Porter's
PR department. Next year, we're going to see Erik's going to be rocking all Porter swag, like Porter t-shirt jerseys, Michael Porter Jr. hats. Is this going to be everything Porter? Yeah.
I mean, just look at his 21 last game, 5, 11, 10. He's only gone over this total once in the 4 games versus the Heat, and then against the Lakers, 6, 15. So he went over it more in the Lakers series. But he had 11 shots, was 3 of 5 from 3. I just think we're not going to see him get as many shots. He will make an effort to kind of stop him when he is on the court with the second unit. So I'm going to bank on a little shot regression for Bruce Brown. So I did Bruce Brown under 11.5 points.
Okay, Erik, I got a really tough question for you here. You're only allowed to take one of them out for a candlelight dinner and a beautiful date, and then a long walk on the beach after. Are we talking about Michael Porter Jr. or Davis Mills?
Oh my God, Davis Mills, dude.
I was going to say, I knew that beautiful long neck would entice you. I was going to say, no.
I think Davis Mills can put some more high lifes down than
Than
Porter.
I think
so.
I think
I'll
so
go
too. And I think Davis has done a good job for you the last couple of years. He's made you some really good money in some late season games in the NFL. You had two more, Erik, two guys that you were hoping can get a little bit more run for Miami tonight. Like you were saying, you may switch the lineup a little bit because these two guys have been playing well. In particular, the one guy who I've been really impressed with throughout a lot of the playoffs was Duncan Robinson. This dude was out of the rotation. He was not playable over the last couple years a lot of times because of defense. And all he started to do was move his feet more, give a better effort on defense, and then make the other team defend him. He's not just standing by the three-point line. He's moving, he's running, he's cutting. His offensive game is much better. He's pump faking and he's going, and it's working a lot better for him. He's impacting games quite a bit. He's had these little stretches. In the one game they won, he came in and he scored, what you said, like 8 or 9 points right in a row, or like in one stretch in the quarter. So he's like a real key for them to play well. And I've been really impressed with him.
8 points. I mean, you look at, he entered the third period at the 3:34 mark, closed the game for them. Excuse me. You look at his game total, 12 points, 9 points, 10 points, game 1, 3 points. So he's gone over this 3 out of 4 games. Offense just looks better. He gives them more scoring. And I really think that's the key. They need scoring in there. And I know Strus is a little taller, but you got to play Duncan Robinson right now because he gives you the best shot of winning. So I'm going to take Duncan over the 8.5. I locked this in early in the morning before Wojo tweeted out that Hero is going to try to give it a go. This is actually dipped down to 7.5. So I absolutely love it at that 7.5. So you're getting a better number if you're seeing this now. My boy Lowry over 9.5. The last 2 games, he's playing more than Gabe Vincent. He's averaging 31.5 minutes to Vincent's only 25.5 minutes. He's averaging 7.5 shots in those 2 games from the floor, 4 3-point attempts and 3 free throws a game, averaging 11 points. I think he brings more offensively to this team, not afraid of the moment like it seems like Vincent is. I think Sproul has to realize that they can't stop the Nuggets, and they need to have Lowry out there. Vincent made an interesting comment. And after he made this comment, and this was after game 3, it kind of told me a lot about Vincent's mindset. Vincent was like, we have such a thin margin of error. We can't mess up because they just have way too much. That I didn't like that quote from him.
Yeah,
it kind of
even if it's real, right? Even if it's like realistic, he's being serious. But you don't say that publicly. Like you don't say that as the athlete, right? You can't think that way, like out loud. You know what I mean? You're right. And it's like he's already defeated at that point. Like he's already beat. You're right.
So I don't know. I just think it's going to be a Lowry series. What I'm going to do is I play the over 9.5. I'll probably do one of those same game parlays where I can get a Lowry over and a Porter over of some sorts, maybe mix in Duncan Robinson. But they've been very stingy, the book that allows you to do alternates with Duncan Robinson.
Yes, he hasn't been up. Yeah, his stuff hasn't been popping up much.
They've been very stingy. So that kind of tells you they're trying to protect themselves against some what's the word I'm looking for? Exposure to Duncan Robinson.
Let's head over to Thrive, and we'll continue to talk about this game as we look at a few props. For those of you who like to wager on props, this site is for you. And what's great about it is it gives you better value when you bet props than you would anywhere else. As long as you combine 2 props, it's considered a contest and like a contest format. So you can parlay 2, 3, 4, or 5 props together. When you do, they give you better payouts than if you were to parlay those anywhere else. So a 2-prop parlay gives you 3.2 times your entry. That's why this site does it. They want to entice you to come over here and play, because if you win, you'll get more money. You'll keep playing with them. When you go to Thrive Fantasy, use the promo code Gino, Gino, when you deposit, and anything from 25 to 250, it'll give you a match deposit bonus. Erik, couple props for me today. We've been talking about a lot of these. I'm in the prop parlay. I went Lowry over on the points and KCP over on the points. Pretty simple for me. And I could parlay these 2 props together, and for $20, it would get me back $64. Just getting these two props home. Kyle Lowry over 8.5, KCP over 7.5, because of the added bonus that they give you with the 3.2 times your entry. That's what we are looking for. We play every day, all sorts of different sports. We need to get little advantages like this anywhere we can, because this helps our bottom line.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, the 3.2 to 1 is huge. Mine is very similar to the one you did. I did Lowry, the over with the points, but I went to the one right at the very top of your screen. I went Bruce Brown under 13.5 points and assists. He's only averaging 1 assist per game. His high for assist in a game is 2. So that kind of gives me a little bit of wiggle room with the points, just in case he gets a couple fast break points, hits a couple threes. I still like him to go under, but the 13.5 gives me a little more wiggle room instead of playing the 11.5 prop.
Folks, thanks so much for hanging out with us all year. We don't know if this is the last day of the NBA season, but if it is, Erik and I will be back very soon. Erik's on my show a lot. I'm on his show. We have a new show that's going to be starting in a couple weeks, where we're going to be talking some baseball and weekend sports and previewing NFL and college stuff. But we really appreciate everybody joining us over the last couple months for Fast Break Bets. Erik, we have another question here. How much Nuggets gear are you getting if they win the title? Oh yeah,
I'll be getting a lot. I'll be getting a Mile High T-shirt if they win.
Well, because what's nice is you could get some of those Nuggets, like the baby blue Nuggets that look sort of Lions colors.
Yeah.
Right. So you could wear some of your Lions stuff with the Nuggets, and you could really, you could really mix and match very nicely. Erik, you've had a fantastic NBA season and playoff season, man. You always put in the work. Some days we'll have some bad days, but more days than not are positive days and good days, because you're always paying attention to the lines, trying to get the movement first. And, just kind of playing the opposite of what the public is looking at, what everybody's talking about, the narrative a lot of the times. So again, can't congratulate you enough for a very good year. Let's finish off in a strong way, and maybe we have another game or two to talk about. Who knows? Every time we've tried to count this Heat team out, man, they've been really, really tough, and that's the reason why they're still here.
Yeah. Hopefully it ends out, because I want to cash all my Nuggets futures. I don't want any plays. I just want boom, done. Get me to the bank, and let's start diving into some college football and NFL football.
That sounds good. If there is another NBA game, we'll talk to you in a few days. If not, we will talk to you again very soon. Make sure to give Erik a follow on all the social medias. If you're watching here on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTubes also. Give us a follow on Twitter as well. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Good luck.